Hey, we're live, I think. Possibly.
Everyone thinks because you're a zombie, you don't know good
Okay.
coffee. Well, they're wrong. There's only one brew that gets my seal of approval. Deadly Grounds coffee is my guilty pleasure. The aroma is so intoxicating. It brings all of my neighbors out of the woodwork. Deadly Grounds coffee. Coffee to die for and zombie approved. It's good to get a little deadly. Use the front door! Oh, they're so disgusting.
The Dorkening and all affiliated shows are not intended for anyone under the age of 18. The following may contain discussions or scenes that have adult situations, graphic violence, nudity, strong sexual content, and graphic language. This show is intended for mature audiences only. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hello, 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 and welcome back to Unprinted Pages. Today's edition is Book Club Edition, where we tell you guys what we like to read. With us today are our wonderful fake horror authors, Michael Guzman, Jody May. I'm hopefully pointing at the right place. There we go. And then below me, we have Mariah Lind. And everybody, hi, beautiful people. Everybody has their own favorite reads and their own favorite ways to write. What is your favorite book in the entire universe, Michael?
Cool. Favorite book in the entire universe. Okay. I'm gonna
You can do up to 3.
Up to 30? Okay.
No, up to 3.
The first one that came to mind is actually a Star Trek book that I read a long time ago. I have a copy of. It is IQ, and it's written by the actor who played Q, John Delancey, along with Peter David, who is just an excellent author in general. And what it is, number one, unlike most Trek books, this one is told from first-person perspective, Q's, and the story is the universe is actually ending, and he doesn't like it, and he thinks he's the only one who cares enough to try to stop it, because the universe is his playground and nobody's taking it away from him.
That is so cool.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Some of my other favorites. I really love the Wheel of Time series by Robert Jordan. I know Amazon, like last year before, started making a TV series out of it, so it might reach a wider audience now. But I've known about these books since middle school when some friends of mine introduced it to me, and it really opened my eyes to the fantasy genre in general. Before then, I thought it was basically fantasy equals fairy tales equals little kids stuff, and I wasn't into it. And then my friends were like, no, you've got to read this stuff. It's not little kids books. You can enjoy fantasy all your life type deal. And so that's what got me on that road.
I like how you use that thought process in your story in the last book, the Fae propaganda.
Oh yeah,
That was a really good way to work that in.
I'm glad you enjoyed that one.
What about you, Jody? What are yours? You can go up to three.
Okay. Well, my all time, um, is Stephen King. Um,
Ooh,
his mind fascinates me. Um, I didn't know one individual could be
I need to
like,
read more of his stuff. The only book of his I've actually read was Green Mile, and this was long before the movie came out. And I came into it knowing like Stephen King's a horror writer, so I was expecting a horror story. And this is actually one of the few stories he writes that isn't horror. But my God, it was so good. It was like the first book series that made me cry.
uh, whew, trying to think. There's so many to pick from. uh, I would have to go with on the mystery side because I love fantasy and mystery. Really intriguing. I cannot remember the name of the title. I was in the sixth grade, and our library got Dean Koontz at school, and I'm like, well, I haven't heard of you. And then it was like I couldn't put them down. Every time we got new ones, and the librarian would let me know, and I was like the first one to check it out. So, yeah, those are my top two. But um, also, I like George R. R. Martin and his take on um, the way he views things. His inspiration was Tolkien, and he's got his own perspective. And I don't know. I definitely like his readings. They're quite intriguing.
Okay. Hey, Mariah, are you there?
I am here. I am currently
Oh.
working the oven while I talk with you guys. So
Okay, tell
forgive
us
me if I
about your.
sound a little winded. My favorite, much like Jordan, all my favorites is um, I have always loved that book. It was one of the first ones that I read by him. But the first two
What
books
was
that
that
I
book
really got
again?
The Stand.
Okay.
Okay, remake it. Um, all right, give him $10 out of the till. I'll handle it. Um, Sorry about that, guys. But yeah, it was The Stand, and then the first book that I read by Stephen King was actually one of his short story ones. It was 4 Minutes to Midnight. So
Oh,
that's another one of my favorites.
Stan
Yeah.
and the 4 minutes to midnight are a couple of my favorites too. Um, for me, my top favorites, the ones I keep going back to, are "Cat Who Walks Through Walls" by Robert A. Heinlein. Um, "The Number of the Beast." Dude, I wish we could definitely take a ride in Gay Deceiver and "The Number of the Beast," and or take a ride in Dora. Then we could visit all the stories. And my other one would be Dragon Prince by Melanie Ron. And I read that, but I write nothing like that, as you've probably found. um, what has What drives you to read the stuff you like to read now? What are you reading? I guess the next question is, what are you reading now and what drives you to pick the type of books you pick now? Let's start with Jody.
Ooh. Okay, so physical book I'm reading right now. Oh, I'm gonna say the title backwards. I do that a lot. Give me one second. I gotta think. Um,
Dyslexia is our bread and butter in this house. We're fine.
mhm. Children of the Bones. Sorry. I always say that backwards for some reason before. And I don't know. Actually, with that book, it was the title. I was like, hmm, interesting. What's this about? And I was definitely, all I can say is I'm not going to give nothing away, but it's quite like captivating right now. So, um, and I'm only like a little over a quarter of the way through because I've had a hectic schedule lately. But I'm glad I got it. But that one I just went off the title, honestly. But
How do you normally pick the books you read?
I would normally a lot of times like word of mouth, and then I'll do a little research about the author, the style of writing, because I'll read anything, but I'm definitely um geared toward more like thrill and suspense and fantasy, like that's my like bread and butter for reading. So I will at least attempt to read it. There have been a few times I've been suggested some books and I've read them, and it wasn't my style. I really couldn't get into that. But it's rare I find a book I can't do that with. So,
Not I understand. Oh no.
What?
I seem to have done something to my thing when it nearly fell off.
mhm.
Oh no, the thing is that.
Um, while I try to figure that out, um, Mariah, what are you reading now and how do you pick the books you choose?
Oh, this is gonna sound horrible. What I'm reading right now is my own work. I am currently transitioning a series that I did with a different publisher, and mistakes were made. Lots of mistakes were made. And it's been over the decades, so I've grown a little bit. My writing style has changed, and I've been going through and like going, "Oh, that's bad. Oh no," and pulling stuff apart. Um, Before that, I was actually reading um the Harry Potter books again. Uh, because I like reading those, once a year because the amount of detail is just striking, and the way she layered it through all the books is something that I aspire to. Um, so I read through the Harry Potter series uh, to kind of refresh myself on the little snippets and details that she had before I started going through my stuff because I'm completely revamping the whole plan that I had when I started writing. And it's kind of taken on a life of its own because I've just been just churning stuff out at a far more rapid rate than I normally do. Um, so it's been interesting because when you read something like Harry Potter that's like that detailed that she layered it from book one forward. And that's what you want to do. It kind of makes you take a really hard look at what you're doing and like how can I make this work? So that's kind of the zone that I'm in right now. And the only reason it was Harry Potter instead of the Dark Tower series is because I'm really gearing towards the more fantastical magic element than Stephen King's horror and suspense and mystery. So it was a choice based on the genre that I'm in. But yeah, that's currently what I'm doing.
I have loved what you're doing so far. I love the fall, and I love what I've read of your newest one. Hey,
Well,
Michael,
and
what?
it,
Hold on a second. Say what, Mariah?
well, I was saying it's funny, because when I initially did the series, the it was called the Vengeance of Avalon series. I had the idea about the second series, which is the one that I just sent to you guys, Saints and Sinners, and the two series were supposed to kind of run parallel because they both kind of center around one event. It's just where they took place after. So the Dark Camelot Chronicles, which is what the falls in, that primarily those will take place on the side of Avalon where supernatural creatures have been since it happened. But the Saints and Sinners series is what happened here on Earth. So you go from a complete fantasy series, in realms that have all these creatures that we dream of, and then the other series is, hey, this is Earth, and this is what's been hiding here. So it became urban fantasy on that side of it, and I always had the idea to do it, but before I was told it would be overreaching, it couldn't be done, there's no way you could integrate it, and just now it apparently I have a way to write it is what it's come down to. So it's kind of interesting seeing the dynamic now that I've handed this stuff over to new people and said, "Hey, what do you think?"
And we're like, give me. We want it, please. But then again, with all three of you, I'm like, please, let me have it. I want it, please. You've probably noticed.
Yeah, I joke that you're my number one fan all the time.
Well, I'm always over here with my little black and orange pom poms cheering you guys on because you guys rock and you guys need to be read by other people just other than me, but I hope I get to read it regardless.
Oh, I always think of you, and I'm like, I got something new. I know you're gonna want to be one of the first ones to check it out. So,
Oh, yeah. Whenever I
She's
find
my
out it's
proofreader, so she gets to
Well,
read all mine first.
what's great is like I released the Avalon series, and I knew there were issues with it. Don't get me wrong, indie publishing, and I was new, and I just kind of jumped into it. And there was a whole lot of stuff that went bad real quick. Um, they read my bad stuff first, just so we're clear. Like, like I I got pulled into this because a mutual friend was like, "You haven't put anything out in like 5 years." I was like, "That's because I suck." So he introduces me to all these people. He introduces me to all these people, and we talk about it. And I'm like, "No, no, it's not any good." And they talk me into sending them my crap stuff, and I send it to them, and I get told, "Why? Please, you no, I like it. We can fix it." And then it was, well, what if I just start over? So the start over happened, and I went from not putting anything out for 6 years to I think I've handed you guys what, like 4 manuscripts in under 6 months. It's
yeah,
it's been
dang.
stupid.
and we've loved every single minute of it. And all of y'all stuff is right here. It stays right here, and I carry it with me everywhere I go. And then I have physical copies of as you guys have seen, and I keep those here, keep them in my bag. So
Okay.
I don't care. I just hope to read it.
Question for you then: how many times have you reread all of our stuff?
Well, on a lot of it, you have like three stories that I've reread three times, but you've also noticed on some of them, Patty and I have made quotes because we want to sell it to more people, so more
Hmm.
people read your stuff. And then I make the little videos to try to get everybody's attention. And I was going to reread the unknown caller story on air, and then you're like, no, I'll read it. So we need to make time for that on um, Corpse Garden Chronicles. You have got to come on Corpse Garden Chronicles
What day of the week
soon
is
and
that?
read it. It's usually my days are Fridays or Saturdays.
Okay. Well, like today is Saturday. That's why I thought today was going to be that day.
Yeah,
But I'm
but
fine with this
Heather
too.
and I were talking about doing the other Heather and I were talking about doing a book club meeting, but
Okay.
I don't know where she is, and I hope she's doing okay. But either way, we are doing Unprinted Pages book club edition today, and I just
Yay.
realized I have misspelled friends on the title. This is why you don't do stuff when you have COVID, guys. Your brain does
Oh no,
mush.
you're sick.
You
I'm so
did not
sorry.
tell me you had COVID. What the fuck, woman?
Well, I'm over here in a closet in Texas. I can't share with you.
I don't
It's
want it.
not that. It's just I've had it once already, but it's not fun.
Oh, three times. Woohoo! Three times.
I can honestly
Three
say
times.
I am working my normal job in food service. I've been doing it since COVID became a thing. I still haven't had it once. So knock
You're
on wood.
lucky. Whatever you're doing, keep doing it. It is not fun.
So, yeah.
It incapacitated me for almost a week.
Oh, it's been like, that's why it got moved to Saturday. It's supposed to be Friday, but I couldn't do Friday because it
But your
hurt.
name is Friday.
I was gonna say
Yeah,
You
I
Friday.
wouldn't
love
be able to do
Friday.
Your
Friday.
Friday.
Have you guys read Friday? Did you know it's an actual book?
Mm-mm.
No.
Okay. I got it from a book called Friday by Robert A. Heinlein when I was a teenager, and I just kept it because you can't uh not do a day name that sounds really cool. But if you ever read it, you'll understand. Oh, by the way, since I wasn't able to say it earlier, hi, Tom Dog. Hi, Mohana. I'm so happy you guys are here. And Mike, what are you reading and how do you pick your reads?
Okay, well, not currently reading anything right now, so I'll answer with the most recent thing I just finished. And the title is A Long Way to a Small Angry Planet by Becky Chambers. Just wanted to zoom out and make sure I got the title correct because it's one of the longest titles I've ever done. But it is a sci fi novel that was recommended to me by one of my old high school friends. And I found it pretty interesting. Unlike a lot of the books I read, this book is 100% basically a slice of life story. There is no antagonist, which is surprising that a story could not have an antagonist and still keep me interested. And it follows this woman who's basically got it, like, lost her old job and she's got a new job in this futuristic setting in which if there's a new planet out there that's just been discovered with untapped resources, and the current technology is it'll take a year to reach this planet and back, and that's inefficient for like fast trade and stuff. So what they do is they hire these ships to take that year-long trip to these distant planets, and then on that side of the galaxy construct a wormhole back to the main part of the galaxy, so travel to and from that location can be much faster. And she joins the crew of people that is their job. Basically, they are like interstellar highway construction people. Is the best way to describe it. It's like creating infrastructure for a whole galactic society. And she's basically from Earth, never been out into space, never met all these alien cultures, and so it's like all this world building. She's getting to learn about the different races in her galaxy, getting to interact with other members of her crew, forming friendships and stuff like that, and just traveling. And basically, it's world building, it's relationship forming, it's found family, it's a lot of fun, and there's like a small hint of romance in there too. But it's just like very descriptive world building is what I really enjoyed about this one.
That is awesome. How do you normally pick the books you do read?
Usually, either recommendations from friends, or if it's an author I've already enjoyed, I try to find more stuff by them. And also lately, just because of getting involved with fake horror and stuff, I've been looking into more indie books now too, instead of just the mainstream ones.
That is cool.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the way I pick books have changed recently. Normally I pick like science fiction, fantasy, or whatever. That sounds good. And then recently, uh, over the past 2 years, I just normally receive arcs in my email or through Facebook Messenger, and then I read that, and then I read whatever comes through Fakeware. But right now, I am trying to get through Hospital of Haunts, Fey Whiskers, and um, My Gothic Angel. And then Mariah just sent me a brand new manuscript of her new stuff, the Saints and Sinners thing. And I am so excited about that. So I get to fight in between trying to mom and do those things. It's amazing how when you finally get your dream you had since high school, life changes. I didn't expect to read so many PDFs, and now I'm excited to get the new one whenever it comes in.
Well, like I'm gonna tell you that I was surprised I wrote that. Like it was not intended. Like it really wasn't. It just kind of happened. Um, and then I was like, okay, well, let me see what they think. And I sent it in, and I felt bad because I sent it, and Patty said she was going to bed, and then she messaged me again at like 4 a.m. and said I couldn't put it down. And I was like, I'm sorry, that wasn't the intent. Um, but there
You
there there
didn't
is some,
intend on ensnaring us?
huh?
You didn't intend to ensnare us into your book? I thought that was
Well,
all authors did.
well, I didn't intend to keep her up. Like, like I was like, okay, well, I sent you something. It's the way I do it. I sent it, and I'm like, just when you get a chance, take a look. You know, I'm not rushing it. It's just I did a thing. I didn't expect it to like be she opened it and then I get a message at 4 a.m. and I'm like, I'm so sorry. You said you were going to bed. You know, one of those.
Um, our the next question I think would be like one of the biggest fan questions most anybody has, and I it differs for the answers. I love the differing answers with each author. How does what your favorite reads? Um, how do they? I had it in my brain, and it's fuzzy. How does what you read go into what you're writing? Does it help inspire it? Do you write something totally different than what you read, or any of the things that go along with that idea? How Let's start with Mariah.
Um, it hmm, it depends on what I'm writing. I will say, the customer service book differs from anything I read or write. It that that happened of its own volition. Just to kind of get it out of my head. As far as writing the urban fantasy, the fantasy adventure, the zombie book, um, yes, the things that I read very much feed into that because it's the zombie book. I found myself peppering in like small things that when you get to later books in the series, you can be like, "Oh, she set me up for that since book one." Stuff like that.
Huh.
Um, I've peppered a couple of things in there, like that. The Avalon series, both of them now, kind of layering in detail. Um, I've been experimenting with that because I've seen it in Stephen King's work, in R.L. Stein's work, in um, J.K. Rowling, Game of Thrones. You see this where like small tidbits of information that you think are inconsequential later come to mean something huge. Um, so that very much influences what I'm writing as far as fantasy books. Um, Horror, I've only written one horror story, guys. So eh. That was just kind of to see if I could do it. So there wasn't really anything influencing that other than personal experience.
Okay, Jody.
Yeah. Um, it like Mariah, it depends on what I'm writing. Right now, I'm personally on a big healing journey, so I've tapped more into my poetry side of things and put my life story to the side for now, because it's from a fictional standpoint in a lot of ways, like outside of the box. Um, but if I'm reading something, like, it definitely gets me brainstorming, really, like, entices my creativity. The thing is I'll have one thing in my head and I kind of let my pen do the talking, and different from what definitely different, because most of my poetry right now is self-healing centered, um, but it definitely helps me tap into things I normally wouldn't, I guess is what I'm trying to say. I'm so sorry, guys. I'm really tired. I painted faces all day.
Well,
We appreciate it. I am so grateful you're here because there for a little bit I thought I didn't have anybody. And then
Look,
Michael and
I'm
Mariah,
here.
nope, I'm here. And
I'm
I'm
here
great.
while I'm at work. Like,
No.
you sure you won't get into trouble for that?
You guys, you guys have
no.
any idea how grateful I am? And I'm sick and I'm here because I promised I would do a show. And I'm like, but I don't know what to do. And then I'm like, book club edition.
There we go.
What about you, Michael? And do you have a problem being called Mike?
No, I don't. It was fine.
Okay, cool. And If you haven't noticed, I love Michael so much. I literally named my kid Michael. His middle name is Michael because I didn't
You're
get to
kidding
pick
me.
the first name. Yep. No, I did name my kid Michael. Although
After
he was
me?
named after my uncle.
Okay. I'm
I
like, how
love
old's your
you, but
kid?
he's 4.
Okay, it was like, was he around since you've met me? That's what I'm wondering.
Let's see. I had him in 19 and I met you guys in 2021.
Okay, so 2 years before us. So okay then, because that would be
So,
like
yeah.
a heck of
You
a
met me
blow
way
to
before
me
that.
in a positive way. Like,
Yeah.
did I really have that much of an effect on somebody?
No, I just figured I'd let you know I love the name so much. I named my kid Michael,
Oh,
but he was named
you just love
after
the
Michael
name so much.
Downs.
Okay,
Yeah, that's how much
okay,
but every Mike I meet, I want to call Mike. But
you're
Hmm.
fine
unless
with it.
it's
I'm
like
fine with
Uncle
that.
Michael when it's been drilled in my head since I was a kid. So, but anyway,
Yeah. So
how
the question
does
is,
your reading bear on what you write?
how does what I read get into what I write? Well,
Yeah, does it
for
inspire
my
it?
oh yeah, for my stories that lean more towards the horror side, which is a lot of the ones that I've had published, I'm definitely heavily influenced by R.L. Stein because he's the horror writer I read the most growing up. Always love twist endings that you don't see coming, and I try to put that in all of the ones that I've written. I don't know, some may be more successful than others, but I always love. I always prefer suspense and mystery over blood and gore. I want to know the motivation. Why is whatever creature or ghost or something? Why are you being haunted? Why are you being hunted? What is its motivation? That's what interests me in horror stories. Is why does the monster do what it does? And it's not always just because. And I want it to have an actual reason for doing it. And for my non-horror stories, usually whatever sci-fi or fantasy I enjoy obviously has an influence on it. But some of the stuff I try to put stuff in my own life into it. Like my most recent one, um, a lot of it was based on my childhood, early childhood. I basically split my childhood into like several different characters in my most recent story from Playground. And one time, like sometimes the story got out of my control. I think Jenny Friday's favorite story of mine, The Gift, which was about the Dumbledore statue. You love that one, I know. Like
Oh,
initially,
Dumb Boys are some of my favorite things.
yes, I wanted to write a story about it, and I knew I wanted to write something like semi-romantic. But then when I started writing it, all of a sudden, like it came out of my control. Like make this an LGBTQ story. Just came out of nowhere, and I'm like, okay, that one like just jumped right out at me out of nowhere, and I'm like, but I'm not LGBTQ, so I'm like, I hope I can do it justice because I have friends who are, and is it real? I guess it's kind of like imposter syndrome. I don't know, like, can I write the perspective of the type of person I'm not actually of that type and do it well? So I hope that one came across pretty good.
You got the grief very well. I understand grief very well. It that was you did great on that idea.
Hmm. But originally, I
Um,
was like, I knew I wanted to make it an interracial couple because I'm the product of one, basically. But like for our modern times and like people needing representation, it needed to be more, I think.
mhm.
So like it's interracial
And
and it's a lesbian couple. So like, okay, let's do this.
I have no idea if mine turned out well. The one I did on the my lesbian couple. And
Send it.
send it. Okay.
Send it. No, you don't
Is that one
understand.
you've already
I got a
published?
whole group of girls that used to work here with me that they read all that stuff and like so they tell me, well, like if you read this one, this is the problem with this. If you read this one, this is the problem with that. So I've read a lot of these in the last 6 months. I'm ready to read a good one. Send it.
Okay. That I can do. Sensitivity readers would rock. And
Sorry, it's getting a little cold in here. I need to adjust my temperature.
that works. When it comes to mine, to be honest, the one of all of them that I'm probably going to take most from are the haunted hospital. And from that one, I'm most of my stories are about haunts because I'm trying to write about a haunted nursing home in one of the ones I'm working on, and the other one's about a paranormal investigation team and
Ooh,
different stories from their lives from uh, what ghost stories that have happened in their lives. But not everything I read goes towards that because, in all actuality, I had not read an Arthurian tale in at least since 2006. And then Mariah sent me that one, and now it's laying on the couch, you know? And, but I loved what I read in that. And and the other stories, I have no idea what I'll get from that, but I love learning from seeing how different characters work and seeing different ways to put things together because how you guys write, how Jody does her poetry, how Mike writes his under the bed monsters, how Mariah's wizards and humans are going to work. I get to learn so many different things because I will probably have never have thought how to do certain things as I've seen. And that's like the best thing about these short story collections that I get to see and be a part of. And I really do hope that when you guys get a hold of Nightmare Whiskers, if you don't like my stories, that's fine. But I hope you like what my kid and I did because she was so awesome and she's so proud of that one.
I'm just sad I missed out on being able to submit something to it, but I'll definitely try to give it a read at least.
Okay, because I'm pretty sure if you look in Discord, you can find it.
To be fair,
Yes.
as far as the Arthurian stuff, I don't know about anybody else, but I was always fascinated by like the idea of Camelot and Avalon and Atlantis. So, I researched all the myths, all the different stories around it. And I came to a realization, especially with like, if you read, there's like 7, 8, 9 different legends all out of the same region about Camelot, Arthur, Avalon, and two of them tie into like otherworldly creatures and then dragons and all this other stuff. So when I was researching and I found that, I realized, if I was going to write about this particular subject, I needed to do it in a way that kind of paid homage to all of the legends we have, but make it my own in a new way. And that can be kind of tricky when you're dealing with stuff like that. So I'm glad you like it. I'm very glad you like it because it's kind of a tricky thing to pull off. It's a tricky thing to do because you have to kind of pay homage because these are people's cultures, these are their legends, these are their myths, So you kind of have to touch on it and then
Hmm.
turn it enough that you make it your own, but that you don't break what is their legend.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of reading in that too.
And I had actually spent a whole lot of time, instead of reading them, researching where it happened or supposedly happened, or whichever way you want to go with the idea. I honestly, at this point, they either were real or weren't real or whatever. At, I'm just happy the stories exist, and I've enjoyed the different documentaries about um, where it could have happened, where the castle could have been, and the beautiful scenery there. That has been more of what I've been looking forward to in the Arthurian tales, because I wanted to see it. And with that, I was able to picture what could have been happening in your tale more. But then again, I'm a very weird person. I look up weird things.
You say weird like it's a bad thing. It's not.
I hope not, because I could be looking up ghost stories one day, reading about mental institutions the next day, or trying to figure out where King Arthur may have had his battle. And that was actually a real week for me. And then all along, in between that, listening to Number Blocks and Pete the Cat and stuff like that. What do you watch? Is my next question. Let's start with Mike this time. Do you
What
watch
do I
TV?
watch? Yeah, most of the TV I watch is on streaming services now because price wise I couldn't afford like internet and cable TV and all that other stuff. So started with streaming services. I don't get to watch as much TV as I like just because my job takes most of my day. But currently right now I am getting back into one of my favorite anime, My Hero Academia. I'm behind where most everybody else is. And
I'm behind too.
that's my current main watch. I am on the last episode of Star Trek Discovery. I am like one third of the way through and I need to finish it. But a lot of my spare time when it's not TV, usually my wife and I like to also watch a lot of YouTube videos. We like watching independent artists do their things. And I haven't really watched any movies in a long time just because I don't have like 2 hours slotted away normally to sit down and watch something. So unfortunately, I don't get to watch as much TV as I would like, but I hope to like try to pick at least one thing and stick with it for a while.
That rocks.
Like usually I'm done with work and I might have like 2 3 hours in which to eat dinner, bathe, prep for the next day, and hang out with my wife. And so not that sounds like a lot of time, but it's really not.
No, not really. What do you like to watch, Jody?
Um, right now I'm on a true crime kick again. Um, and I need noise at night, so I've been leaving it on like guess it's I call it Ion. Some people say Eon. That channel where a lot of like SVU, Criminal Minds, things like that'll. So literally all night long, I'm just listening to detectives work and solve crimes, and I don't know. I sleep well. Um, but
All
I do.
right, that makes
I love a good, like murder mystery. I really do.
you too. What about you, Mariah?
As if this is the question. Um, Currently, I'm going between two shows on Netflix. Well, three actually. Um, Supernatural, because Sam and Dean. Um, Sandman, and the Avatar series they did. So that is currently what I'm watching. Like if I'm trying to write and I want something as white noise, it's Supernatural because I pretty much watched all of them repeatedly.
Hmm.
Um, but like if my brain feels like it's about to slide out my ear and I'm overloaded, I've been watching Sandman and that Avatar: The Last Airbender show just to kind of, whew, that's cool. You know, that looks real cool. I didn't have to do it. Yay. You know, stuff like that. That's like my brain dump right now.
That is awesome. I love those. Okay. Team Sam or Team Dean? For I don't know. Do you watch Supernatural, Mike?
I do, but I haven't finished it. Mostly because my wife's not really into horror at all. So if I was to watch it, I'd have to watch it by myself. And usually when I have time off, I'd rather do other things. Like I may have watched half the series. So where I left off is I might be the halfway point of the series, but it seemed like it was a good ending point because it seemed like Sam and the devil was permanently defeated, but it cost Sam his life. And Dean found a woman that he loved and was starting to live with her and her child. And like he gets a new family, and like this seems like a good ending point. And then I find out there's like a whole
That
another
was
section to the series
season
after
five.
that I haven't even touched yet. I'm like, wow, I got a lot more to watch. And I'm like, I just hope I have the time to watch it.
Oh yeah, that was season five. Trust me, there are more characters that you're gonna learn to love and hate. So
Mm.
yeah,
Yeah,
as
that's what I
as a
was thinking.
writer,
But you agree, like if I didn't know any better, I thought that was the ending because that was a good stopping point.
like let me tell you, as a writer, I one day just want to write a character like Crawley. Like you wanted to hate him, but you couldn't because he was honest about what he was, and
Hmm.
like Crawley was just yes. I one day I aspire to write a character like Crawley. That will be the pinnacle. I'll say, okay, shut it down. I'm done. Success.
Sounds a lot like Garrett from Deep
Okay.
Space Nine. Like he's this character you never know
Yes.
whose side he's on, but he is just so charismatic you can't help but love him.
Yes, all you want to do is you want to be his friend, but you're also worried he's going to stab you in the back. But yeah,
Yes,
are
he's
you
like
Team Sam or Team Dean?
I'm on both. I like both. I know.
Both?
I mean, the whole point of the show is they're brothers. They do everything together. That's the whole
Yes.
point of the shows. You can't have one without the other.
Yes. But
Hmm.
there
And
are
then
teams.
after
Like
they
there's
add, and then after they add Castiel to the team, it's like he's been so ingrained to the show. They're like, was there a time before Castiel? I don't remember. Even though he was like
Mhm,
introduced what season 3 or 4 or something, but he just became so ingrained. He
mhm.
was like the third brother practically, and they're like, now we can't imagine the show without him either.
Well, I'm gonna
Exactly.
be honest. I, I can never answer the Team Sam, Team Dean question because I'm going to be very honest. It depends on what day it is and what's going on. Like, like if it
Okay.
is a
On
day where
today.
I am
Personality wise, I'm a lot closer to Sam than Dean, at the very least. If we're talking about stuff like that.
today is a Team Dean day. Today is a Team Dean day. Sarcasm, action, kill the bad things, move on. Like I need that in my life right now. Um,
Exactly.
yeah, especially when you work in food service. Most days are Team Dean day, but But
So correct.
if you're at home and you're like writing and you're like, how do I make this work? That's a Team Sam day all day,
Mm-hmm.
all damn day. So again, what team I'm on depends on what day it is, and if anybody's pissed me off, then you got it.
Right.
What about you, Jody?
So I'm kind of like Mariah. There's days where I would lean more toward Dean because, that's kick ass. Take names later. Let's just get this done. But a lot of days, I'm more like Sam, like the meanings behind things, the rhyme and reason, the thorough thought, the let's think
Hmm.
this through. We can't just go in guns a blazing, so to say. Um, and those are my really good days. So, yeah,
Exactly.
it depends on my day whether, you'd have to wake up every morning and ask me, so are we Team Sam or Dean today?
I will say for Team Dean days, we have pudding. There's
Yeah,
pudding
Exactly.
And
sweet.
pie.
and pie. That's right.
He's all about the pie.
Yeah, he is, but I'm going to tell you that episode where they're locked in the loony bin and they're
Hmm.
like
Oh, that's
distractor
one
and
of the
he
ones I
pulls
have
down his
seen.
pants and he pulls down his pants and goes pudding. Like, done. Done.
But
I'm good with it.
Exactly.
my comfort episode, Yellow Fever.
Oh my
Undefeated by
god!
title.
Oh my god! Yellow
That mess
fever.
was hilarious.
Yeah, but that's also the one that
That's the one where he does Eye of the Tiger.
spawned the video of Eye of the Tiger and the Impala.
Hmm.
Yes, sir, I
Yes,
know it well.
that
he
was just
also
so.
he also screams at that cat, and that's like one of the best scenes ever.
That is my comfort episode. That's an episode I can actually watch with my wife because it's more comedy than horror.
That rocks. I would normally say I'm Team Dean all the way in general. I have no idea why I picked him other than the sarcasm and the attitude.
Hmm.
Maybe that's enough.
Yeah,
Yeah, those alone are the reasons to choose Steve. And anybody who's talked to me for more than 5 minutes and heard a sarcastic comment come out of my mouth knows why.
so are we a cake person or a pie person? Is the next question.
Cake.
Jody. Cake.
Ugh, why? I'm a baker, damn it. Oh, ah. You know what? I'm gonna blow your mind. I'm neither. I'm a scones kind of person.
Man, I
Ooh,
haven't had me a scone in forever.
Yeah, I prefer a scone.
I'm going to tell you this. I'm that difficult person. It depends on what's in front of me. Like, there are certain things you need cake for. Black
Yeah.
forest cake, most definitely. There you go. Cherry cheese pie, bitch, get out my way.
Mm-hmm.
Like, cheesecake, again. So it really depends. Like, if you're putting an apple pie against a black forest cake, cake's going to win. If you put an apple pie versus cherry cheese pie's going to win. Chocolate cake versus cherry cheese pie wins. Like, it depends
Yeah,
on what's in front of
exactly. What are the options today?
it. Right?
I want I want cheesecake, strawberry cheesecake, but I want it on a brownie on top of brownie. And I don't know if brownie is considered a cookie or a cake.
Brownie's its own
It's,
separate thing, in my opinion.
it's its own separate thing. Because the
Yeah,
consistency is different.
it's completely different.
Okay.
Yeah. So
So
brownies
cheesecake.
are their own thing. Yeah.
Brownies are brownies, Jenny. Brownies are brownies.
So
And
either
then
way, I
you
want
see
to
those
put on
weird brownie cookie mix I've
Brookies.
seen lately.
Brookies.
Brookies.
Oh, they have a fusion name. I did not know that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
brookies. And they are delish.
They are,
However,
but I'm
I
also
will say,
like,
Jenny said that, and all I'm thinking about now is that turtle cheesecake.
Oh, you're making me hungry.
but I'm also
I am
diabetic, so
hungry too,
gotta
and
be
I
careful how
don't remember.
much sweets I take in.
Are you that wonderful D word?
Yes,
He's so sweet, life
it's under
can't take it.
control to the point where I don't have to take meds, but I'm still trying to be cautious so I don't have to go back on them.
And in case the audience is wondering, diabetic. I did not just call my friend something else.
I kind of figured. I don't think diabetic was a bad word, though. You don't get
No,
to say
I
that.
just didn't want the audience to think I just called you something else. When I said, "Are
She's
you
Okay,
like, let
well
diabetic?"
me
then you
be
should have just
clear.
said diabetic instead of D word.
She's like, let me be clear. I did not call him a douche canoe.
Right? Well, I was thinking another appendage route, but okay.
Well, D
My head
word
was going
came
where Jody
from.
was going.
Here's the thing. I
Yeah,
was a paramedic, so I figured I could get away. It's kind of like that airway thing. You know you can get away with saying douche canoe. You can't get away with saying the other one
Correct.
on radio. So, yeah, I have to make my choices wisely.
You did well. You did well.
this is an over 18 show, but I also didn't want the audience to think I'm calling any of you guys bad names. Beautiful angels, amazing friends, awesome blessings. All of those I'm going to call you regardless. People I'm grateful to be around, I'm going to call you that too. But yeah,
You're gonna make my heart burst.
it grew 30
I told
sizes
you I
that
was
day.
diabetic. What's with all the sugar you're throwing at me?
Mwah!
Oh.
I swear, the next time that I'm in something with Michael, I'm gonna have like a little meme set up of like throwing Smarties at somebody.
I have found one thing about the majority of the writers I know. You guys do not believe me when I say your work is great. Others should read it, and then it confuses you when I make new stuff for it. I'm like, hey, I'm going to use this as the next ad. Does it work? And you're like, but that's old stuff. And I'm like, people should still read it. They need to read all your stuff and see why they should like you. So once we
See,
get
I
past
can't.
that part,
Well, you send me stuff, and I'm like, okay, yeah, sure. Because it's like, I guess you can use that. I don't know what's gonna work. Because every once in a while, I get wild hair up my ass, and I'll go make a TikTok video, and I'll send it to you. And go, is this okay? It's
yeah.
what I do.
Maybe now here's a tricky
Have you
one
found?
with TikTok's fate in limbo. Is it still worth it to make them right now?
It hasn't
It
stopped
is.
me.
Okay.
It is. I mean, even with TikTok being in limbo, the thing that we all have to understand, and it's something that I learned from all the mistakes made when I first started writing. Anything that can get you noticed, anything where people can watch a video or see something or read something that you did that garners interest, helps. So, like, even if TikTok is kind of on the verge and it might not be here in 6 months, you know what? It's here right now, and millions of people are on it every day. So,
Yeah,
if you've got the right tag, yeah.
I've only recently joined, ironically enough, because my wife is really heavy into TikTok and tries to send me videos all the time. And I used to be able to just watch them on Instant Messenger, but now I can't even do that anymore. They're like, if you want to watch the video, you have to get the app. I'm like, fine, I'll get the stupid app. I'll watch the videos there. It's like maybe I should start making my own videos for my stories. But then if I did
You can
that,
put up
would,
the ones
would I
I've
take
made if
Friday?
you want.
I was say I don't want to take Friday's job away from her. She loves it so much.
But here's
No,
the
you
thing,
need to put
like,
your stuff up. Use all the videos I sent you. Put them on your page. Make new ones. Tag me in them so I can share them.
yeah, because like what she and I are doing is I send her what I make and she reposts what I made, but then I repost everything she puts up. So, so like my page is full of just stuff that we've done. It's
And I
it's
Okay,
repost
crazy.
yeah.
both your guys' stuff. So there you go.
Yeah, like
And
there are like people that have started following my TikTok. I'm like, how do I know this person? And you pull up their profile, it says Fakor. I'm like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, that one. I
yeah,
went
and
from
we
like
love to hear.
5 followers to like 50. I was like, okay.
So, okay, we are hitting the hour mark. Let's go around the circle and tell people where you'd like to be found. Mariah, where do you want people to find you?
Okay, so you can find me on Facebook at Mariah Lind. You can also find me, well, technically Friday at Mariah Lind author page. um, if you send a message, she'll probably answer, but she'll come to me and she'll get the actual answer and we'll get to you. You can also find me on Twitch. When I do game, it's under Lady Dark Jedi 1. I'm also on TikTok under the same thing. And on the off chance that I'm on Twitter, it is at Mariah Lind, and it's pretty simple. Books are on Amazon. You can find links of them pretty much everywhere. I'm sure Friday will attach them here shortly because she's lovely like that. But that's where you can find me at least this week.
As soon as I figure out the links, the big carousel link thing, I'll get those put on your pages and send them to you in Messenger. Jody, where would you like to be found?
So you can find me on Facebook at Jody with an I, May. And you can find me also at Nail the Rainbow. Other platforms right now, due to personal reasons, I am not utilizing them at the moment. So,
Okay, works for us. Where do you want to be found, Mike?
On Facebook, you can either look at Mike Guzman, or for my author page, you can look up Michael Guzman Author. Both are on Facebook. On Twitter, you can find me at Paladin Artea, all one word. Artea is how you spell the last part. And that's also my Twitch handle for the rare times I get to stream video games, but usually I'm there to watch other people too. And that's pretty much all my socials right now. Maybe I'll get working on some TikToks and have a TikTok handle ready for you guys next time. I don't know.
I hope so. Either way, find me now that you have one under Our Girl Friday at TikTok. And you can find me at Fakor. You can find me at Owlite. You can find me at Friday with the Library in the Blue Box. And my author page, Jennifer Elliott. Thank you all for coming. Thank you all for being here. I have enjoyed learning about what they like to read and everything. And I hope you guys have enjoyed learning about what, hopefully, soon some of your favorite authors and poets like to read. And I shall see you all. Thank you. We shall see you all later. Bye, guys.
Have a good night, everyone.